The first feature race of the Daytona SuperChamps Season 3 is about to get underway. In the DMAX lightweight category, Jamie Tiley-Gooden and Dom Balasaitis line up on the front row of the grid. Former lap record holder Jack Stewart will be in third with Matthew Thomas alongside. Reigning DMAX champion James Bettison will be starting in fifth, with the reigning Sodi champion of Matthew Glazebrook lining up in sixth place alongside Bettison. James King and Lewis Barton will be on row 4, with Joe Fletcher and Billy Sirra completing the top 10. Charlie Bone will be completing the field in 11th. In the heavyweight category, Aidan Miller and Sebastian Musica complete the front row of the grid. Carl Stevens and Gareth Baldwin are third and fourth, with Ian Riley and Barry Morris making up row 3. Miles Bate and Ashley Mason-King will be on row 4, with AJ Watson and Simon Mitchell completing the top 10 and Christian Mitchell just behind. It should be an absolute cracker. Make their way into the final corner, and when Jamie Tiley-Gooden wanted to pull the trigger, he was the fastest in the first race of the day but didn't have enough time to catch Dom Balasaitis. Now he's starting this race on pole. What can Dom Balasaitis do to challenge? We are green and we are racing at Daytona Milton Keynes. Good start for Jamie Tiley-Gooden, but that's Jack Stewart going up the inside of Dom Balasaitis into the chicane and up into second place. So a fantastic start from Jack Stewart. We have a spinner heading into the chicane. I don't know if that is potentially one of the King brothers, but I do know that Jack Stewart is up into second place and Dom Balasaitis is now coming under a bit of pressure from our 105 car. Here is Ian Riley though, getting a good run heading into the carousel. I believe that's Sebastian Musica in front as Barry Morris finds a way through, hangs it around the outside as well, but Aidan Miller has got a fantastic run coming out of turn 7. Gareth Baldwin just in front as Sebastian Musica. Was that a little bit of contact? The rears lock up. Sebastian Musica, I don't think he made contact with the cart in front, and that's going to be a couple of places lost for young Sebastian nonetheless. Here is Barry Morris making his way through turn number 10. He gets a really good run, able to pull up past Aidan Miller and actually cuts in front of him into the final corner. So fantastic stuff from Barry Morris to get up into P12 overall and P2 in the heavyweight class. Jamie Tiley-Gooden has stretched out a 1 second lead over Jack Stewart. Here's Ian Riley and he's going to be licking his lips at this battle. Aidan Miller and Barry Morris having contact heading through turn 8, and Ian Riley gets the drive of dreams on corner exit. He's on the outside heading into turn 9, can't go for the move, but Barry Morris is compromised heading into turn 10. It's switchback after switchback for Ian Riley, and now Morris is having to go defensive heading into the final corner. But Ian Riley, can he get the drive? Morris straight over to the inside. Riley won't be able to get through, and Barry Morris holds on to the position. Here comes Jamie Tiley-Gooden into turn 10. Continuing to extend his lead over Jack Stewart and Dom Balasaitis. Dom Balasaitis, oh, Jack Stewart, he's put a wheel on the curb and lost the rear. Oh, he's going to be kicking himself for that one. James Bettison is going to fly up his inside. And Jack Stewart, it's such an easy mistake to make. You just let the cart out onto the curb, it spins up the rear tyres and sends you around. Dom Balasaitis promoted up into second place, and Jack Stewart has a lot of work to do. And we might be seeing a really good drive now for Jack Stewart as he tries to clamber up the field, currently down in P6, directly behind James Bettison. Jack Stewart is all over the rear end of James Bettison. He's going to send it up the inside into the carousel. Jack Stewart wasting no time whatsoever, flying past James Bettison, who tries to fight back into turn 7, but there is no fighting back for Bettison as Stewart takes P5 and now tries to hunt down Matthew Glazebrook, with Matthew Thomas currently in P3. Here's Ian Riley, who's got a fantastic view as Barry Morris sends one up the inside of Gareth Baldwin, and Ian Riley says, don't mind if I do, follows Morris through and up a position as well as they make their way out of turn 5. But Ian Riley hasn't got the best of drives and has Gareth Baldwin directly behind. He sends it up the inside of Ian Riley into the carousel. Fantastic move from Gareth Baldwin. Ian Riley going to try to fight this one back, but he's on the outside heading into turn 7. Has to yield the position and give that one over to Baldwin. And then Jack Stewart finally into the 105, so 105.9, 105.8 for James Bettison. There is a yellow flag out. Who is that out for? Jack Stewart's fine. James Bettison's fine. So is Lewis Barton. Is that Joseph Fletcher? Here is Matthew Glazebrook, who has got a really good run against Matthew Thomas. Pulls over to the inside. Matthew Thomas not going defensive. This should be an easy move for Glazebrook as he goes up the inside into turn 9. Gets the job done. Little bit of contact as Matthew Thomas goes to the outside and pulls off the switchback as well. Down into turn 10. So Matthew Glazebrook temporarily ahead and temporarily was able to get up into P4 in the lightweight category. Here is Gareth Baldwin. Ian Riley, though, going to have a send up the inside into turn 4. Really good move from Ian Riley, who takes P3 in the heavyweight class. Gareth Baldwin, though, on the outside heading into turn 5. Surely Baldwin doesn't hang it all the way around the outside. He does. And Gareth Baldwin has got a fantastic drive. Ian Riley up the inside. A little bit of contact between the pair of them as Aidan Miller watches all of this battling unfold. Goes behind Riley and now gets a switchback on the pair of them. Not going to be a good enough drive to get past Baldwin or Riley. Has to slot in behind as Joseph Fletcher is able to gain a position in the process. And Aidan Miller actually pushing Joseph Fletcher along on the exit of turn 8. And Fletcher has got a really good run. He's gone up the inside of Ian Riley. So Joseph Fletcher doesn't make it just one position, but takes 2 positions in quick succession. As Aidan Miller's having a little think about going up the inside of Riley down into turn 10. Has to think better of it and will have to settle for P5 in the heavyweight class. And Barry Morris has really pulled away from this quartet of karts as he continues his battle with Carl Stevens for the heavyweight win. Barry Morris is right on the back of Carl Stevens now as they head through the chicane. Barry Morris with his new personal best of the race of 1:06.4. 2/10 out of Carl Stevens on that last lap. Ian Riley sending it up the inside of Gareth Baldwin into turn 4. And I think he's made the move work as well. AJ Watson going to follow through. Gareth Baldwin getting a very, very slow exit. Gareth Baldwin actually gets past Ian Riley once again. Barry Morris right behind Carl Stevens. Barry Morris goes up the inside into the final corner. Barry Morris up into the lead. Carl Stevens, though, fights this one back. And Barry Morris takes the race lead in the heavyweight class. Carl Stevens is just going to have to sit behind Barry Morris as they head through the chicane. Leaves the door open, though, does Barry Morris, and Carl Stevens says, "Don't mind if I do." Sends it up the inside of Morris without thinking twice. And Carl Stevens retakes the lead of the heavyweight class. But now Barry Morris has had a taste of leading this DMAX heavy race. For a second I thought maybe he was going to go up the inside into the carousel. Decides better of it. And we know that Barry Morris has the pace to get past Carl Stevens. Can he get the move done and dusted? Can he ensure that Carl Stevens can't fight back as they head down the hill towards turn 8? And if you can get a good run, which Barry Morris seemingly has, maybe Morris can go up the inside into turn 9. You can see the closing speed of Barry Morris as he pulls to the inside. Carl Stevens tries to hang this one round the outside. Barry Morris, though, able to get to the inside for turn 10 and cover off any potential fight back from Carl Stevens. And this time round, Barry Morris secures a heavyweight class lead, although not a good run out of the final corner. And Carl Stevens might be thinking that maybe once again he can fight back. Barry Morris, though, is clear ahead heading into the chicane, but Carl Stevens carries a lot of speed through the chicane. Maybe the door will open. Barry Morris keeps it defensive heading into the hairpin of turn 4, but that leaves it open for Carl Stevens to take the switchback, and the pair of them side by side into turn 5. Stevens is going to try to hang it round the outside of turn 5, but that one does not work very often. And Barry Morris has been fighting with Carl Stevens for the better part of a lap, maybe an entire lap, and has held on to the lead of this race. Here's Sebastian Musica going up the inside of Gareth Baldwin into turn 1. Ian Riley following it through and able to go up the inside of Baldwin. So finally, Ian Riley is past Gareth Baldwin. As here is Ian Riley going up the inside of Sebastian Musica into turn 9. It's a really good run. Musica, though, going to look to the outside into turn 10. A little bit of contact between them. Sebastian Musica goes up onto that curb, that same curb that spun Jack Stewart around. Fortunately for Musica, he will stay facing in the right direction. What a drive then for Jamie Tiley-Gooden as he will win the feature race to start off his SuperChamps campaign. Dom Balasaitis took the win in the sprint race, but in the feature race, he's just been second bested by Jamie Tiley-Gooden. Well, a win and a second for Dom Balasaitis, ahead of a very impressive drive from Matthew Thomas to take P3. After a fantastic opening round to the season, in the DMAX lightweight category, Jamie Tiley-Gooden takes the race win ahead of longtime rival Dom Balasaitis. Matthew Thomas completes the podium ahead of Jack Stewart, with Matthew Glazebrook taking P5. Reigning champion James Betterson could only manage 6th ahead of Lewis Barton and James King, with Joe Fletcher, Billy Sirra and Charlie Bone completing the field. The race results after our heavyweight DMAX race. Barry Morris takes a fantastic race win ahead of Carl Stevens and Aidan Miller. Ian Riley takes P4 ahead of AJ Watson. Sebastian Musica, Gareth Baldwin and Miles Bate complete your top 8. Ashley Mason takes P9 ahead of Christian and Simon Mitchell.